So what you're saying is we Americans are cheap and easy. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, would it be like lab rats? Would that be the right term?
I like that.
Welcome to Makers International, a podcast of makers from 3 countries, 2 continents, and featuring 5 guys separated only by the same language. Here's your host, Richard Morley.
Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good times, whatever time it is and wherever you're listening. Joined, as always, with me tonight is Mr. Chris Cute.
Hello, how are you, everybody?
Mr. Joe Whitaker.
You're right, Tom, yeah.
And he's knee-deep in acrylic pens, but he still can't find one to write with. It's Jamie Page.
How you doing?
Just a very quick note, predominantly for everyone listening. We've had a message from Alan. He does send his apologies, but he's unable to be on with us tonight due to some family commitments which have come up right at the last minute. So he does apologise to each and every one of our listeners. Not that he bothered apologising to us. He just said he wasn't going to be here. So it's not a panic. It's not a big deal at all, because you've obviously seen the thumbnail and you know that with us tonight we have a very special, and I'm really excited because I don't know this person particularly well, but I've seen some of their videos and they are pretty cool. It's Mr. BillSin. How are you doing, Bill?
Hey guys, thank you for having me.
Well, thanks for coming on. I know we organised this a little while back, but I've actually been looking forward to this. I'll be right back with you in a second, Bill, because we're just going to do a few shout outs for people that have been commenting and whatnot. So over on Facebook, we've got Marcus Hoffman, Sebastian Alari, James Jacob and Rick Wilkie. And then over on YouTube, it kind of exploded. So Joe, it's not my fault we run over this week. It's our fantastic audiences. Just swerve that bullet for a second. We've got Wacky Woodworks, The Redsmith, Robert Evans, Bruce Chastain, Waylight Creations, Jim Dockrell, Rob's Workshop, KSFWG, Ragtie, Ian Brody Smith, Shogun Jimmy, Mark Christopher, Wigwag Workshop, a Midwest Mountain Home and Garden DIY, Bob over at Plustrum Crafts, Ian Hay and Sharp Edge Woodworking, and of course Jason McGinn over on SoundCloud was beating away at his keyboard because I think he left about 5 different comments, which is awesome. So don't forget, you can get in touch with us on whatever you're listening on, your platform, blah, blah, blah. Do we have any random listener questions this week before we dive in? I don't think we do. Should we just...
I didn't see any, honestly, Richard.
I didn't either. So brilliant. That means we can get stuck in with our super cool guest all the way from Munich in Germany. And I didn't realize this until about 3 minutes ago. He's not actually German. He's actually Greek. BillSin, how are you, Bill?
It's everything okay. Yeah, I'm a Greek guy who moved in Germany, in Munich, before 5 years. And I live there. I'm living there. And I began, I think, before 1 year with the whole maker thing. I had it in mind. I was looking for videos about the last 2 years, and I think it's already 6 or 7 months that I posted my first video on YouTube.
Because you're a relative newcomer to the YouTube scene, aren't you?
Yeah.
But one of the things, and I know everyone's going to want to bombard you with questions, but the one thing that struck me about your videos was the way they're put together. There's such a cinematic sort of, it's difficult to describe, but they're not sort of they're more of a film production than a making something. It's almost like the making of whatever it is you're making, whether it's your the TV stand or the sound display, is kind of secondary to making the video. Do you have like videography training, or are you from the movie sort of side of things?
Yeah, to say the truth, this is my job. I studied photography. I'm a photographer for more like 14 years now.
Right.
But yeah, and I'm editing videos about, I think it's more for 8 years. But the last 5 years here in Munich, I learned more about video editing, about filmmaking, and this is what I'm trying to do with the videos. Not only the making thing, but at the same time a good quality, product quality from the videos from them.
Right. So you're more of a filmmaker really than a thing maker, a physical object maker. Is that right?
I would say 50-50 because I really enjoy to make things. It's something I had many years in mind. I made some things before, but the last 2 years I start to follow many guys in YouTube, all the guys who everybody knows, and I really learned many things from YouTube and start my own channel. First I start to making things alone, and then start the videos.
Right, gotcha. No, that makes a lot of sense. Because when I saw like when I saw the first video of yours that I watched, I don't think it was your first video that you put out, but it was very, and I don't mean this like it sounded like you'd ripped like the style from somebody else, because when you actually get into the videos, it becomes blatantly obvious that that's not the case. But I could see a lot of kind of Laura Kampf style coming in certain parts, and there's a bit of the Duresta coming in there as well, and the way that the scenes were set up, and you sort of blended all these different.
David Welder as well. I mean, he has that influence. Yeah.
For sure.
I think this is the filmmaking situation when you learn some things about filmmaking, which shots is the right thing to do, which shot is not right for every movement that you want to do in a film or in a movie. This is the beginning. There is some rules, and then it's creativity from every guy, how he want to use it. And I think Laura Kampf has the same
style
about the videos. This is why she's making also very good films. This is how how it goes. But every time you have to try to use your abilities in the room you are, because I have a very small workshop. Is 20 square meters. I don't know how many square feet is that, but 20 square meters is.
Richard would tell you it's smaller than mine, so don't worry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Unless you need like a bus service to get from one tool to the next, then you're way out of Chris's league there.
and this is the reason that I have many close shots in the video, is because I don't have so much space to give to the audience, and this is the way how you have to be creative about the filmmaking.
Do you sort of sit down and plan each sort of shot and scene and what you're going to shoot and at each stage of the build before you start, or do you just kind of right, I'm making this and then dive in and take I'll do it that way, or I'll film it from that side, or as you go along?
Yeah, I am more the guy who makes things and don't think so much. I don't like to plan. It's sometimes too boring, I think, for me to plan the next shots, but I'm going as the project goes. If I have to go to the table saw, I have 5, 6 or 7 different shots that I can do. I have to change it. But this is the difficulty when you need to have more shots in a video. You have to give the half time from making a project. The half time is the shooting. From what I'm making, I have to change the angles from the camera very often. This is the way how
and that becomes a very time-consuming.
Yes.
Everything that takes. I was kind of hoping you were going to say no. I plan it all down. I have a rough idea of what it is, because when I do a video, I just write, this is what I'm making, and the camera's just kind of there, and I move it around a bit and all the rest of it, and hence the kind of slightly less than mediocre quality of films or videos that I end up putting out, rather than the amazing sort of you can only call it cinematography. Really, the way your videos come across and the the completely almost random shots of somebody doing air punches next to the river and a bunch of ducks at the side of the river and just random things like that that don't always have a obvious connection to your build. That was one thing that kind of stuck with me anyway.
Yeah, thanks.
So,
well, it's very artistic. And Richard, if you don't mind me jumping in here, because this was going to be one of the first things on my list that I was going to talk to Bill about as well.
no, you crack on, fella.
No. Because Bill, some of your camera work and I guess the more that you end up actually making videos yourself, the more you start to, like Richard, recognize a lot of the film work that you do. I kind of am able to look at a lot of the film work you do as well, and I kind of try to picture how you go about doing it. But you have and incorporate something that I just think is cool, and if you have something that helps you do this, I want to know what it is. Do you have like an automated camera slide or something that moves the camera gradually as you're working? Because you have a lot of pan left to right motion in your video that is happening while you work, and it works out extremely well. I don't know if you did that in post-production or if that's actual hardware you have on a camera setup.
This is hardware.
Okay.
To say the truth, is a very cheap camera slider, and this is the next thing I want to change because I have to use very often the stabilizer in the post-production, in the editing afterwards. Because, it's too cheap, this slider, and I have so many, how can I say it in English? Have so many jumps in the movement.
Oh, so you got a lot of bumps in the movement, is what you're saying. So you really have to.
Yeah.
Well, that explains a lot, though. But it's still what you have and what you've done with what you have comes across extremely well. I just wanted to let you know that, and I thought it was very well done.
Yeah, this is an extra rule about some filmmakers, because there are filmmakers who learn to use only the expensive equipment they have, but is some other filmmakers that think I'll try to make something good from the things I have, and there is my way how I do the things. Everyone wants the best camera or the best equipment, but if you don't have it, you have to try it with what you have there.
Right, and I know Joe. I believe Joe, you shoot with a DSLR, do you not?
Yes, that's right. I'll shoot with a Canon 70D.
And do you use a DSLR as well, Bill, or what are you currently using to film with?
Yeah, I have a DSLR. Is the Nikon D750. I don't know if it's for amateurs. I think it's between amateurs and professionals. It's in this stage.
Mid-range, so it's sort of a mid-range DSLR?
Mid-range in the price, I don't think so. It's for about 1,800 euros. Only the body, not the...
So in U.S. dollars, it's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of like $2,500 for me in the United States. Okay, so it's not a cheap camera whatsoever.
Yes.
That's as opposed to like Jamie's iPhone that he uses.
Oh wait, I'm using a potato.
He's using a potato.
Each scene is hand carved and then dipped in yellow paint, and
Exactly.
And then turned on a lathe and made into a pen.
Yeah.
When you're saying about making the best of what you've got rather than using the best equipment, that kind of goes back to almost the sort of general maker philosophy. I think, if you haven't got a big expensive table saw or a wide enough thickness planer, use another tool to do the same job. And you've done exactly that with as you say, a cheap slider. To make your own, do and mend sort of attitude. I think that's great. So
yeah, it's like how my workshop is already made. The tools I have is everything I take from Craigslist or eBay. What I bought there is many of them is used, but they get the job done.
Something that I actually wanted to ask Bill, because obviously this is Makers International and we've got points of view from the UK, US, Canada and stuff like that, but what's the maker community and experience like in Germany and even Greece, like when you still lived in Greece? Is it much different to what we see in the likes of the UK and in the US?
I think the makers scene in Germany, it starts now make more interest. There are already many makers or YouTubers, you know them, but I think it's going to make a big start now.
So it's just like getting started, really. The community's growing as we speak.
This is it's getting started, and in Greece it's not so. Yeah, it's not so easy. I think there are many, not so many. I know about 5 or 10 YouTubers or makers that they are there, but yeah, it's not so ready to.
Well, I mean, German craftsmanship has been around for eons. I mean, it's not like there aren't people in there that are not doing it. It's just that you may not see them as often. The question I had, and Joe, thank you for asking that, because I had a question regarding that, because my question as far as your experience there in Germany is has more to do with the actual individual, like yourself or myself or anybody who happens to be listening, and the actual maker experience for you in Germany. Because to be quite honest with you, Bill, we've heard everything from, people's perception that the United States has everything, which is honestly quite untrue, to people in other parts of the world telling us it costs them $1,000 for a sheet of plywood, which was most likely also untrue. What's the reality in Germany? I mean, are there plenty of materials for you to choose from and work with, or are they relatively not over the top expensive, or is it a big out-of-pocket expense for you to do what you do, or what's the situation there in Germany as far as your ability to be an individual lone guy maker out there doing your own thing?
You can the best idea for me is you can find everything in Craigslist. They said in USA it's eBay in Germany. And you can find many things in very, very, very good prices. I bought my table saw in a price for 180 euros. And the next price for this table saw is built in 1993. The next price was 700 euros. And I was really lucky to find so good price to buy it, to bought it. But the new tools is, to say the truth, if we have to compare it with USA, with America, it's more, it's not so cheap here.
It's more expensive. But but you guys also have, correct me if I'm wrong, but Festool is a German company, isn't it, guys?
Yes.
Yeah, and I know that they do not make cheap tools, but I also know that Bosch is a German maker, and I believe Bosch has. I mean, are Bosch tools readily available to you in Germany? And because to be honest with you, I just bought a Bosch tool myself today here in the United States, and I know that it wasn't inexpensive, wasn't over the top expensive either, but it was within my budget.
I don't know why they do that, because Bosch in USA has more products as in Germany.
Really?
Yeah. In every situation, they have more tools. The table saw that there is like the saw stop in USA. You don't find it in Germany. They have only one start very cheap table saw, and then they have one more at 900 euros, and that's it. You don't have more to choose. But in the drills or the impact drivers, of course, there is more things. But for woodworking, Bosch in USA has more products. Okay. I don't know why. I don't understand it.
I would almost I'd strongly say, and I don't know at all, this is purely my own assumption, I guess, that is going to be a business decision based on the number of potential customers that they're going to have in the US. Just looking at the population and then drill down into their target audience, which is going to be on their builders and stuff. There's going to be more in the US than there are in Germany. So why have 10 types of drill or saw in Germany when there's probably only 10,000 people looking in for that market.
There's actually also the health and safety aspect to look at things, because the few tool manufacturers that I've actually spoke to, it seems that the health and safety laws in the US are a lot more relaxed to what we have over in the UK and Europe. So that, like, I've spoke to the likes of Rigid, because I was really after that Rigid belt sander, and they were saying that they'd have to make a lot of modifications to be able to sell it in the EU. So there's that kind of thing as well. If they can make a product much easier and simpler and sell it in America, I think I'm just going to stick with doing that rather than having to put the more money out, the more expensive development to get it into our market too.
So what you're saying is we Americans are cheap and easy. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, would it be like lab rats? Would that be the right term?
I like that. Yeah, that's.
All comes back down to the dado stack again, doesn't it?
Well, that's a prime example. And I mean, I don't know what it's like for the US. Maybe Chris, you'll be able to clarify this. But if you go out and buy a router bit today or tomorrow, what is marked on the shank of that router bit?
You know what? The actual markings on the shank, Richard, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. It's either going to be a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch bit. But other than that, I don't know the markings that you speak of, because I've never actually looked at the shaft of my router bit. That looks like, to be quite honest with you.
Over here in Europe, there's a K line, which is there's actually a physical marking on the shank of the bit to say this is how far, this is the maximum you're allowed to have the bit sticking out.
There's a depth marking. You're talking about yes. There are depth markings on the router bits that we have here as well. But I can tell you this: you can also find some router bits here in the States that don't have that marking on them.
Yeah, I mean we can get them here in the UK if you get them off eBay, because they come from the Far East where the regulations. But the EU regulations are, they've got to have that K line. They've got to have the maximum RPM of the cutter, when it was manufactured. Who manufactured? There's loads and loads of information that's got to be put on that cutter before they can sell it. So you'll find that a lot of my router bit supplier, when you look at their website for the US, they don't have any cutters on there at all. It's like one of the 5 routers they make, and mostly jigs, and that's it, because of that. What Joe was saying about the whole health and safety, the complications, and all the rest of it. So that's almost certainly going to be the case there with, as Bill was saying, with the tools and the limited numbers and choices and whatnot.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to ask Bill the question that I did ask him, because I mean, and Bill, I'll try to kill 2 birds with 1 stone with you here, because I think the first video I ever saw of yours, and it blew me away, because I just thought it was incredibly cool, and the way it turned out was fantastic. I think it was a video you put out about 5 or 6 months ago. And if I'm not incorrect, I believe it was for Sterling's Pallet Wood Upcycle Challenge. You actually did the Munich skyline out of pallet wood.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was awesome. But having followed your channel since, Bill, I've noticed that you do use a lot of reclaimed materials. I didn't know if that was out of necessity, or if you had some sort of an inspiration, or if there was somebody out there that inspired you to begin using reclaimed materials. What's the story there? Because you do a lot of really cool stuff with a lot of reclaimed material. I want to know what your thinking was behind using that material, as opposed to going out and buying new and starting fresh.
By starting, I have not so big a budget to buy new things, wood, to say the truth. And my last job was in a company that has one big container with old pallets. Every week they throw it away. So there was a good chance for me to have wood to use in my projects. And then I started using the reclaimed wood, and I saw that you take so good character out of the reclaimed wood. It's like a surprise every time you use it, because you say it in the beginning that it's a little gray. When you put the oil there, it's another color, it's another tone. It came out really, really cool. And that's the reason I used it, now.
So it was more out of necessity to begin with, but since then it's been kind of more of a discovery, and you kind of enjoy using it. Because I've got to tell you that sign that you made, the Munich skyline, and if Alan was here today, I would try to get you to explain to Alan how the scroll saw can be his friend, because you did a lot of scroll saw work on that thing, and Jamie can attest to this. Alan's probably not the biggest scroll saw user in the world, but and that must have taken you some time to do, but it actually came out awesome. I just wanted to show you some love in that. So we're talking to BillSin from, and we did mention your channel. It's the BillSin, and it's one word, BillSin Workshop on YouTube. So if you have a chance, go over and check that out, because that video I saw, I think it was 5 or 6 months ago, you did that for Sterling's Pallet Upwood Cycle challenge. So that was actually very cool. Yeah,
I love that project, especially because of the fact it had all the scroll saw in it. And I love that one, and I love the contrast of the different tones of the woods after you stained it as well. It kind of made me want to go and do a London themed one as well. I was actually kind of curious. Over in Germany, do they pronounce it Munich or München?
Yeah, in German it's München.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah. It's another letter for the U after the M. It's a U with two small points. How do they say it?
It's umlaut, isn't it? Don't they call that umlaut?
Umlaut.
Umlaut.
Yeah. Oh, I was never good at German at school.
But to say the truth about this project for Munich skyline, I don't like also the scroll, so I have it there, but I don't use it. So.
Are you getting guys getting everyone on just to pick on me or something?
It was necessity. What about the project?
Yeah, you've just got to face facts there, Jamie. The scroll saw can. Yes, it can produce some absolutely beautiful work. You do some great work with the scroll saw. There's a lot of people out there that do. But for the likes of us, it is a tool of necessity, because nothing else will do that particular job. Am I right, Bill?
It's tools using tool. That's what it is.
Well, that might be.
Maybe mine is a cheap one. This is the reason I don't like.
No, that's not an excuse. I've done portraits using a cheap one. Yeah, I actually went through and watched all of your videos today. Well, for the simple fact that because you was on the podcast, and not to say that I haven't watched them previously. I was kind of refreshing, and I actually watched the pour over coffee stand, and I was actually curious. The glass jar that was on top, I was curious about where you used to get something like that.
I bought it from Amazon. It's I think the name is Pour Over. The same name is Pour Over coffee set. You take the thing above it was plastic, and how we call it, where the coffee comes was glass.
Oh, like the strainer.
Yeah, the strainer was glass. Yeah, and it was a set in Amazon about 20 euros or $18, I think.
Oh right, okay. Yeah. No, everyone likes coffee. Well, most people do.
But I haven't watched all of your videos, Bill. I'll be honest, but I have watched quite a few. And although my absolute favourite was the rustic TV stand that you made, I thought that was just turned out so cool, and it looked cool the way it was, put together like that. And for anyone listening, that's definitely one to watch. But the one I really want to ask you about, because it just completely bamboozled me. When you go onto Pinterest and you see these pictures of things that people have made, and you just think that is just not real, and why would you even consider doing that? It's just why? I just don't get that. You made a toolbox from a jerry can. Yes. And I started watching it thinking, why would you, how would that even be? And then it was just, I just got like it was a rabbit hole, and I couldn't stop watching it, and it was just absolutely amazing. Just talk us through your sort of your mindset and where that idea came from, and just why you thought, I know, I'll make a toolbox out of an old petrol can.
Yeah, this jerry can. The idea comes from Pinterest. I saw so many of them that people made it about a mini bar with liquor or whiskey inside. And then came the idea to me, wow, this is a good idea, but what can I do with this? I don't like alcohol so much.
Right.
Maybe I do a toolbox, and this is how the idea came.
I mean, it was brilliant. It was just pure brilliant, because I'd say I saw it on Pinterest and just thought, why? What? I just don't understand the idea of it. But then it was so cool. I mean, do you still have it? Do you use it? I mean, or is it a project that kind of gets shelved and that's a project I made, or do you actually use that as a toolbox occasionally?
I did not use it because I haven't done anything outside my shop the last month, because it's a 1 month old video. But I'm willing to try to use it. I know that is a little heavier with the other toolboxes, but I will try it. Why not?
Absolutely. And just, I think that would be a really cool toolkit for people that do off-roading and stuff like that, because they have those sorts of things in their trucks anyway. They're one full of petrol and one full of tools. I mean, it was just brilliant. Absolutely.
We joked around with a guy who's coming from Munich, but is in Canada, I think. He wrote me how I make the outside shots with a toolbox, and I told him, I would like to try to go in the center of the city and make some shots there, but with a jerry can in the middle of Munich, the time with so many terrorist situations, it would be a little not so easy.
A bit more risky, perhaps. Yeah. So, what did you actually use? Because it looked like when you edged the door and like the inside of the door, it looked like you'd used like from a car, the rubber.
Yes,
sort of seal. Is that what it was, or?
Yeah, this is the rubber. I think it has a little aluminium inside of the rubber, but they use it in cars, I think. Yeah, in the windows.
Yes,
windows, outside the windows. Yeah.
Yeah, just like to keep because that's what it looked like, but I wasn't quite sure from that. But, that goes back to what I was saying about the pure brilliance of the way you produce your videos. It's not just the idea, but the way you put the video together as well. It's absolute genius, as I'm sure everyone else will agree.
Can I also just point out he said aluminium right as well?
This is true. This is true.
I'm in no situation to argue that point at this moment, I guess.
It's 4 against 1. It's 4 against 1.
I'll just mute myself now. Go carry on.
You haven't even got Alan to defend you this week.
Yeah, I'm lacking North Americans this week. Bill, I wonder if you would expound for us upon, because I mean, obviously we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone here, because I think it's new to me too, and as it was to Richard, that you're actually Greek. What is the difference between your experience of doing things in Germany, where you currently are now, and what you if you were to go back to Greece, would you be looking at the same kind of situation, or would you be looking at maybe there's more opportunity in Greece or less opportunity, or is there a difference that you could see, or do you think probably it would be just pretty much the same situation no matter where you were?
From the point of view of YouTube videos, I don't think so. That's a difference, because Greece and Germany, it's not so far away. They have almost the same products you find in the shops. But if you want to sell things, I think Germany is more easier to sell things, because in Greece, I think every second person has the ability to work with his hands, and he can do things with his hands. So if you want something like you do, he's willing to make it alone. himself, not alone.
Well, so the difference would be that there are apparently a lot more makers in Greece than there apparently are in Germany that actually do things for people to make available for people to buy.
Yeah, I think in Greece is many more makers, but they don't call them makers. They just do the things, and that's it.
I've never been to Greece, but I have been to Crete. And first and foremost, if anyone gets the opportunity, because I think potentially, Greece and the Greek islands almost kind of get forgotten about by the rest of the world in terms of we're going to Europe. So, it's always like France, Germany, Spain, the UK, and Greece kind of gets forgotten about. So if you ever get the opportunity, that is definitely a place to visit, because it is the one place on earth that I've been to. And when it was time to go home, I didn't want to go home. I wasn't ready to go home. I wanted to stay for longer. Absolutely amazing. And going back to what you were saying about there's loads of people just kind of getting on and making things. There were an awful lot of, the sort of the touristy type places to go and buy stuff. But there were an awful lot of handmade, locally made things from olive wood. I don't know if it's the same on mainland Greece, but certainly in Crete that was the case.
Yeah, that goes more for people who live in the islands. They all are makers because of the tourists. They want to sell the things they made in winter, in the summer with the tourists. Yeah. And it's another situation. If you live, I don't coming from an island. I'm coming from land, and if you live in an island, it's another situation. You have another state of mind. To live, to exist is something else. Something really beautiful. If I want to go to Greece again, to live again in Greece, I would like to be in an island. The islands, it's too many. I have to choose one of them, but it's really nice.
And the people are so nice as well. When you sort of get off the main touristy sort of track, as it were, and you get into the island for real, it just absolutely beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So we've talked to you quite a bit about what you make and your videos, and I think we glanced on who inspired you to make videos, but who do you watch, and who have you been watching lately on YouTube, Bill?
I have a channel. I met the guy before, I think 1 month. He came into Munich for 1 day. He has a Nikas. He has a Nikas Hand Creations. He has also a YouTube channel. He lives in an island in Greece. In a very beautiful island, and he's a wood turner, and most of his projects is with olive wood. And olive wood, about wood turning, it's I think one of the scariest situations, because olive wood is very hard to use it, to turn it. And so I don't know so many things about wood turning because I'm not a wood turner, but from the things he told me, I think it's beautiful what he makes.
Yeah, when I was in Crete, one of the things I wanted to come home with was either some Cretan leather or a piece of olive wood, because like you were saying before, they make the things in the winter and they sell them in the summer. So when you go to these people and say, no, because I make things as well, I'd like to buy a log, an olive wood, they just look at you like you're mad. And then when it clicks and they understand what you're saying to them, they're like, we burn it. There isn't any until the end of the harvest. And we burn the stuff that we don't sell in the summer to keep warm in the winter. So sorry. Yeah, I'd love to get my hands on a bit of olive wood as well.
It's all good. Hey, Richard, you mentioned Cretan leather. Is that lamb hide, or what kind of leather are you talking about?
Do you know what? I honestly don't know. I think it is from cows. And I could well have been swindled. I was walking into town from the little town where we were staying, and I walked past like a leather place where they were making shoes and handbags and wallets and whatnot. And I had a conversation with the guy and bought a piece of leather. And it was local. It was from Crete, and it was a bit of leather. So that's as much as I know. So if Bill can elaborate on that, and I don't know, because I've got no clue.
Yeah, I think it's from cows or sheep, because they have many sheep in the island. It may be also sheep, but I'm not sure also about that. I was one time in Crete, and for only 5 days, it wasn't so long to know so many things about what they made there.
But the stuff that they do make is absolutely brilliant, and it's not one-off. So they're churning these things out to sell them to the tourists. So they're making loads and loads, but the quality is not mass-produced quality stuff. It is individually handmade quality stuff. It's brilliant, absolutely amazing. So
yeah, there is many small companies that made those sandals from leather sandals, and they are really cheap in Greece. They're about 20 or 30 euros. You can buy one set of them, and if you try to find them in Europe or in Germany or in England, the price would be about 60 or 70 euros. It's a big difference, and you have the same product because they produce it there and they sell it direct to the customers.
Absolutely, there's no middleman to mark up at the end. What about you, Joe? What are you? Because normally we talk all the way through about what everyone's watching, but Joe, what have you been watching this week? I know you were on holiday.
While I'm out here in America, I haven't watched a thing. I haven't been on the internet as usual. I've been really neglecting like my Facebook page and everything like that. I had the original idea of posting pictures and stuff while I'm out, but with no internet connection on my phone when I'm out and about, I kind of get back to the house and I just want to relax kind of thing.
Right. Okay. So you've basically not been watching anyone on the internet because you're on holiday. Well, we'll sort of forgive you for that. So if you've not been watching anyone and you haven't got anyone to shout out, what have you been doing? Tell us about your holiday, because we want to know, and you've been neglecting us.
You could always do a Richard and add it to your watch list.
At least I have an excuse.
Well, you actually when you flew into the state, you flew into Vegas when you were to get to where you want to be. So you kind of had a glimpse of it before you went. But what was Vegas like at night?
But Vegas at night, as you can imagine, with all the lights down the strip, it was like a beacon in the desert kind of thing. Being smack bang in the middle of it, I can't really get a true grasp of the size. Driving in during the day, it just appears through the mountains, and it's like going from nothing, mountains, bang, there's Vegas, and it's huge. It's an experience for sure. So, I mean, there's a lot of comparisons drawn to Blackpool in the UK. Blackpool is the Vegas of the UK, and no.
Dude. I've been to Blackpool.
I've been to Blackpool.
I haven't been to Vegas, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, nah, they are not the same.
Exactly.
Nah.
Well, Joe, let me. Has anybody invited you to go to a certain ranch out in Vegas, or have you not gotten that invite yet?
No, not that particular one, but there was plenty of other establishments that was quite willing to take trade. Plenty of people handing out cards on the strip, so, and the price is not too bad. A lot cheaper than the drinks out there, so.
Gonna do a lot of. We don't need to go into a price comparison in that regard, but okay, Joe. I just want to know that you were exposed to that. That's all right.
No, there was nothing exposed. Let's just get that clear.
Brilliant.
That's awesome. Well, you had the full, well, maybe not the entire Vegas experience, but you were exposed to the. Wrong word again. Sorry.
Well, there's always next time.
Always.
More to the point, are you still single?
Yeah, I didn't get married. Luckily.
Did you see an Elvis impersonator anywhere?
About 6, 7, 8, 12, 20. Every corner.
Lost count.
Why am
Batman,
I not
Spider-Man.
surprised?
Yeah.
Oh my! Why am I not surprised?
Fantastic. Bill, have you ever been to the States in general, or Vegas, or anything like that, or just out of curiosity?
I never been in States. I don't know about it.
After I've just heard Joe's
And after this,
on,
he may never go again. He may never even want to go.
Oh, I've been in a few states.
But this is my goal to go. I would like to go.
brilliant. I think everyone should travel as much as they possibly can, because it's, you know, a completely weird experience and something that you can't, you know, falsify or recreate any other way. It's kind of just got to be done. So awesome. Fantastic, Joe. Have you got any plans for next week? Anything that we can look forward to and ask about? Because I'm going to be asking you every week while you're out there, because I just want to know.
I'm not 100% sure about this weekend, but we will be getting tattoos in a couple of weeks, so that'll be another adventure.
Seriously?
Yeah, gonna get tattoos.
You're gonna get a tattoo.
Good effort.
Yeah, commemorate the trip.
Okay. Should we ask where you're gonna put it?
Face, I'm thinking. No, probably on my calf, I think.
Sorry, what?
Somewhere like that. On my calf.
Oh, that's so cute.
I thought you said something else as well.
Yeah, I thought that definitely needs clarifying. But because you said when you were on with us last week that you were going to put the vlog out of you've put one vlog out. That was like the trip. Is there another one coming up, or have you sort of binned that idea? Or
This Wednesday, I'm going to try and get them out on Wednesdays.
cool. So same. So today, in terms of people.
Yeah, when this is released.
Wicked, excellent. Okay, and have you got any projects that you're working on? Because you were going to do that as well, weren't you?
Yeah, we've not started them yet, but we've got them in the works, got them ready to go, kind of thing. So yeah, definitely be doing those.
Have you gotten over your fear of getting the camera out in public and actually making a fool of yourself in front of other people yet, or no?
Well, it was a lot easier in Vegas because there was a lot more people doing it, because obviously it's a holiday destination first and foremost. So I was a tourist kind of thing. I wasn't just some randomer getting the camera out and talking. I didn't speak on camera, to be honest with you. I got like kind of shots of just me looking around, seeing the sights and that. But I think it'll be okay for the vlog.
Did you have like the little cue cards at the bottom, like this is me at such and such?
I should have done
really
that.
enjoying it. Hashtag embarrassed. Cool. In fact, Bill, I didn't actually ask you what you were working on. Joe said he's going to be doing some projects. Have you got anything lined up at the moment that we can expect on your channel? That you?
Yeah, I already have the next project. It's a pallet wall, reclaim wood again.
Awesome.
But we did something in our living room to make it a little better. And this is the next project. It's coming on Saturday or Sunday, I think.
Hashtag blame Pinsky, Lutz and Sway.
That's
So
right.
definitely something for us to be looking forward to. So anyone out there that's not obviously subscribed to Bill, then get on over to his channel and subscribe to him for sure, because there are some seriously cool videos on there. But what about you, Jamie? What are you working? We know you're doing loads of acrylic pens, so please tell us it's going to be a video.
I've just finished him. I'm actually waiting for some exotic bowl blanks to turn up, and then I'll be doing a bowl project, hopefully with a bit of milliput in there.
Yeah, because you said a couple of weeks ago you got some milliput for turning a bowl.
Yeah, so I'm actually waiting for some more to turn up with that. So, because there ain't enough to make a bowl.
A really tiny little bowl.
Yeah. So yeah, I haven't got enough of it. I ordered some, but I haven't quite got enough at the moment.
You could do a thimble.
Yeah, I could do a thimble. Yeah, I could do. Yeah.
Maybe a tumbler, a shot
Yeah.
glass.
Yes, maybe. So no, I want to make it a decent sized bowl. So yeah. Well, before I actually go on with any shout outs and things like that, is that what we're doing? I don't know.
No, I've no idea either. You just go with it, mate.
I was just
Go
going to
with it,
say.
buddy.
Anyway,
Go with it.
I just want to say to Bill that did he know, right, that it was October 2016 that we became friends on Facebook.
Really?
Right?
Yeah.
So now is a good time as any. Boxers or briefs?
Do you know what? I'd forgotten about that, and I apologise, Bill, because we didn't actually warn you in advance if this has come out of the blue. My bad. But since he's asked the question.
To say the truth, I don't understand the last word what he says. Jamie, can you tell it one more time, please?
Let me interpret. Let me be the
Briefs.
interpreter this week. Jamie is asking you if you wear boxers or if you wear briefs. He's talking about your underwear.
Let me check.
Let me check.
I would say boxers.
There we go. We need to go through the episodes and keep a toll of this and see what's going on.
Joe, I'm going to charge you like £20 for that because normally you're supposed to be Jamie's interpreter, and I had to step in this week, so that's going on credit, buddy. I just want to let you know that.
I'm saying I've got to apologise because I've completely forgotten about that. Jamie just managed to sneak that in without any warning.
So
Anyway, we'll try and definitely need to get it back on track. Jamie, what are you working on and what are you watching on YouTube?
what am I working on at the moment? Nothing until the bowl blanks get here. But what am I watching on YouTube? Firstly, I want to give an honourable mention out to Amanda Blakesley. It's Jerry Blakesley's daughter. She done a scroll saw picture of Jerry's logo, and cool. That is absolutely brilliant. She done a really, really good job of that, and she should be really, really proud of herself.
I saw that. That was cool.
But my main shout out is to Cole Jacobson, the prolific woodturner that he is. He done a Valentine's Day bud vase, which kind of looks like a donut. And it's
what?
made. It looks like a donut.
Oh, a donut, because that sounded like you said a boner. A
donut.
Because if anyone was going to say that, it was going to be Jamie.
Or a Taurus, if you like.
Well, that's what he'll be hoping for if it's a Valentine's Day gift.
Carl, if you're listening, we apologize.
And it was made from maple and walnut. So, and if you ever get the chance, check out Cole's Twitch stream as well, which he does throughout the week. So yeah, Cole Jacobson.
Cole's a really nice guy, actually. I've chatted to him briefly on a couple of occasions by email, but I don't really get this Twitch thing. I'm not with Twitch. It's a live stream, isn't it? Do they have can you sort of do like replays of it and watch previous, or can you only watch it while it's streaming?
I think it all depends on the streamer. I think they can save their videos and publish them, or the Twitch records it and you can publish it elsewhere. And I'm not sure entirely how it works. But.
I mean, my bad for not. I always just assumed that because it was a live thing, if I wasn't able to watch it live, then it wasn't like you can with a Hangout. Yeah, but then I just kind of never thought to ask, and obviously,
I'm not actually sure. I'm not actually sure. I think it all depends on the streamer themselves, whether they want to post it or etc.
Cool. Well, if anyone out there is listening and they get Twitch, because I totally don't at the moment, educate me, because I've got no idea, and I'm asking the question. So, cool. What about you, Chris? Are you working on anything video-wise or other?
I do. Because I met a gentleman in Springfield, Massachusetts, when I was at the woodworking show, and actually managed to go out to dinner with him. He's a nice guy too, super nice guy. A gentleman named Jack Perry, and he owns a company called the Miter Set. And he asked me if I would like to try out his product, one of the pieces of product that he has, and I said yes, I would do that. And it's basically a jig for your table saw that helps you do segmented turnings or segmented pieces if you want to do segments and build something out of segmented pieces of wood, whether it be like a 12-sided picture frame, or if you're a wood turner, if you want to do segmented turnings, things of that nature. And it's a jig that you use your miter gauge on your table saw to, and you set your miter gauge to this jig that that he has that he sells, and it's supposed to be phenomenal. And I'll be honest with you, I have not used it yet, and I don't want to use it until I do it on video, because I want to use it first time on video just to show how out of the box it works, because it's supposed to be awesome, but we're going to find out. But super nice guy, and I hope to have that video out sometime, possibly this week.
Is that the one with the pegs? They sort of, there's like some pegs that stick up or something, and
yeah, there are two miter sets. There's a basic one that I think does any degrees from like 0 to infinity.
Presumably 360.
Yeah. Well, well, obviously not. Thank you, Richard.
Not quite infinity. That's what I was getting at.
I'm still stuck on the Toy Story thing. I'm in the infinity and beyond mode here. I'm in anyway.
You got a friend in me.
Yeah. Anyway. There's an original one that you can adjust in like 0.5 degree increments from 0 to 360, Richard. Or there's the segmented one, and I wanted the segmented one because I wanted to get into turning some segmented bowls, and he offered to give me the segmented one so I could try it out, and so I will be doing a video on that hopefully sometime this week. I'm not going to be turning a segmented bowl this week. I'm just going to be displaying the jig that he gave me and showing how it works. As far as who I've been watching Rod Reyes, and I've got to get that tongue rolled down, Rod. I apologize. Rod is one of the founding members of, as you probably know, of the Faking It podcast. But he's also has an awesome YouTube channel called My Garage Workshop. And Rod put out one of the best videos I have seen all year as far as clarity, explanation, and just a killer project. He put out a video this last week on a planer sled that he made, that he actually saw the plans of it on I believe it was a woodworking magazine he grabbed the plans from, but he built it, showed it, explained how to do it, and then did a video explaining exactly how you could make one if you want one yourself. And it was extremely well done. So my shout out goes to Rod Reyes, My Garage Workshop, and the planer sled video he did this week, because it was extremely well done.
Cool. That sounds quite interesting, actually. I mean, as you know, I'm kind of a router guy, and I always think, I'll use the router, but something like that could well be, potentially a conversion for me.
It looks extremely functional, and I may build one. Let's put it that way. That's how inspired I was about watching that video.
Wicked. Well, I know we weren't going to have it. It wasn't going to come up originally, but being as we kind of dropped the Makers Make It Matter thing with the Toy Story videos that everyone did. Don't forget, if you're listening, the auction prep's going on at the moment for people to potentially bid on the things that everyone made, and there was some really cool stuff out there. Didn't somebody or a couple of people throw together like the logo for the film or something as well?
Yeah, a couple nut jobs from North America. I don't know who they were. Thanks for the plug, Richard.
Never really seen that one before, to be honest. The guy didn't spring out to me.
That's not surprising either.
I'll just have to go look through my watch later list. Maybe there'll be something in there. Cool. Well, I've been on the surface this week. Sorry, Chris. Sorry.
All right.
On the surface, I haven't done a video this week at all, so there might be one out by the time this airs. I honestly do not know, but just been kind of thrown around from various things. But I think people will know. I certainly talked about it before. My other half, Kat, is an optician, and she has to get so many teaching points or something for her to continue to be a practicing optician. It's all very complicated. I don't really understand it. Anyway, we had to go to this trade show, and I said to her, yeah, I'll come along with you and go to opticians trade. You imagine like woodworking in America, or W16 in the UK, but with opticians. So rather than table saws, it was pairs of glasses and lenses. I'm probably not painting this in the light which I intend. Probably sounds pretty dull. Yeah, everyone's like, what? Yeah. Well, yeah. But do you know what? It was amazing. It was a whole day in London at one of the show places near the Docklands, and it was really. I got so many ideas about things to make and the way, because I'm looking around, everyone's there like looking at these new fashionable, and seriously, if any, like Chris wears glasses, Bill's got glasses on, Jamie's got glasses on, you know, the optics industry is so fickle in terms of, it's just this big fashion industry. It's unbelievable. They had a catwalk and models showing off pairs, and I was like, what? Oh. So all these opticians and optometrists and very clever people wandering around doing ophthalmic stuff, and I'm there eyeing up this table that someone was using on their stand, which was put together from the front end of 2 Fiat 500s with a bit of glass on the top, and I'm taking pictures of the display stands and little things here and there, and everyone's giving me these really bizarre looks, but I came away with so many cool ideas, so I think my head might explode. And do you know how people have done wooden sunglasses?
Yes.
I was chatting to 2 guys there that were frame makers. They make custom wooden and acetone glasses frames, and I think I can do an awesome pair of sunglasses and have them properly glazed by a lab tech, you know, potentially prescription glasses. The way it was just like, my mind's just rah at the moment. So that's why I haven't put a video out, but I have been watching some videos. And one which cropped up in my feed was from a guy, you're gonna love this, I'm sure. A guy called Chad Wildclay. Anyone heard of him?
I have now.
He put out a video at the tail end of last year, and this kind of comes off the back of the thing we were talking about last week about music and copyright and things like that, because I had to go back and refine this. But he put out a video called "How to Steal Money from YouTubers." Now, bear with me, because it was kind of done in a bit of a parody style. So it talks about the techniques that people are using to steal money from YouTubers, in using loopholes in copyright and things like that. But it's a really good way of knowing how to defend against this. So if anyone's worried about copyright or has had these problems, it's one to watch. So
really glad that Bill was able to make it with us tonight. Bill, I know it's late in Germany for you this evening, and but buddy, I'm glad you were able to get on with us tonight. We had fun.
Definitely, it's always good to have people on, Bill. So thank you.
It was also fun for me. Thanks for having me.
Well, as we say to most of our guests, either in the recording or afterwards, you are very welcome, and we'd love to have you back at some point in the future. Don't know when, but definitely. So I think that just about wraps up tonight. Has anyone said? Everyone's nodding. Joe's head's going to fall off because he wants to go and sit by the pool and drink whatever it is he's drinking. Where can we find everyone on their social media? Bill, do you want to plug your social media for everyone listening?
Yes, I am in YouTube, BillSin, one word, and then workshop. In Instagram, I am BillSin_workshop. In Facebook, BillSin, or BillSin_workshop for a small group. A page. I have a page.
Cool. We'll make sure somebody puts those in the show notes. What about you, Chris?
Easy enough. Chris Cute on YouTube. Make the First Cut on Facebook.
Well, Alan can be found as the Woodworking Junkie, and we will put all his links in there. Just because he's not here doesn't mean to say he doesn't get a plug. What about you, Jamie?
You can find me on YouTube at JP Woodwork and Twitter and Instagram at JP_Woodwork.
Wicked. And what about the podcast? Where can people find the podcast on Twitter?
The podcast is basically just Makers International, or Makers INTL.
Wicked. What about you, Joe? Where can we find you?
Average Joe's Joinery on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Average Joe's Photography on Instagram.
Brilliant. Well, make sure if you're listening and you haven't already, then go over to these pages and check guys out, and make sure you click that little alert thing so you don't miss any of their new content. I've been Rick Morley. You can find me at brainfizz.uk and under my name on YouTube. Once again, thanks for coming on, Bill. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. From myself and everyone else, you all take care, and we'll see you next time. Cheerio.
Have a good week, everybody.
See you next week.
Bye.
Have a week.
Siri, shut up. She's done it again. Seriously, look, she's done it again.
Please tell me you were recording, Joe.